passenger, the children's parents, the children, you the driver.
You're carrying two 13-year-old children and their parents in your car. Who is responsible for seeing that the children wear seat belts? Walaikum salam. So if anyone is under 14 years of age, the responsibility is on the driver. So you the driver. You the driver. Walaikum salam. Salamun adnan. You the driver. په موټر کې چې د 14 کالو نه کم عمره څوک در سره وي چې هغې سیټ بیلټ نه وي اچولی ذمهواري په ډرایور باندې راځي.
There's been a heavy fall of snow. What should you consider before driving in these conditions? Whether you should wear sunglasses to reduce the glare, whether you should fit an amber flashing beacon to your car, whether you should drive without wearing your seat belt, whether your journey is essential.
Salam, salam, salam. There's been a heavy fall of snow. What should you consider before driving in these conditions? So if it's a snowy weather, before you go on a drive in the snow, what should you consider? You should consider where your journey is really needed, or is it really important that you're going out in snow or not. If it's not really needed, if it's not essential, if it's not important, you should not go out. So whether your journey is essential. Walaikum salam.
You're about to reverse into a side road. What should you do if a pedestrian is waiting to cross behind your car? Reverse before the pedestrian starts to cross. Wave to the pedestrian to stop. Give way to the pedestrian. Sound your horn to warn the pedestrian.
مزه و ما ته ټایم میلاو نشو سبا ماښام راته میسیج وکړه انشاءالله دغه به سره کومک وکړم ټیسټ کې. You're about to reverse into a side road. What should you do if pedestrian is waiting to cross behind your car? You should allow them to cross the road. So give way to the pedestrian. Give way to the pedestrian.
Which is the sign for a ring road?
Which is the sign for ring road? See the R, that's a ring road sign, that's a mini roundabout, no stopping. So that's a ring road sign. That's a ring road sign.
What's the purpose of a catalytic converter? To reduce fuel consumption, to reduce harmful exhaust gases, to reduce engine wear, to reduce the risk of fire.
What's the purpose of catalytic converter? See, just remember, catalytic converter is a filter. It works as a filter in your car. It cleanses the hazardous gases before it comes out of your vehicle. Let me just explain that with a picture so you guys remember it. Catalytic converter. Where would you find catalytic converter? Does anyone know the answer? You see, this whole system is called, inside this red circle, this is called exhaust system. Okay, this is exhaust system, and that's a catalytic converter there. And what does it do? You know, that's the engine. So when engine burns petrol or diesel, it makes hazardous gases. So before it comes out of the exhaust, the catalytic converter cleans it before it comes out, or filters it before it comes out to the environment. Catalytic converter like the filter پر انکار کوي کله چې انجن پټرول یا ډیزل وسوځي هغې نه زهرجن ګیسونه جوړیږي دې نه مخکې چې هغه محیط ته بیرون راوځي چاپیریال ته راوځي catalytic converter صفا کوي to reduce harmful exhaust gases.
When may front fog lights be used? When they are fitted above the bumper, when visibility is seriously reduced, when an audible warning device is used, when they are not as bright as the headlights.
When may front fog lights be used? Obviously when it's foggy. So when it's foggy we use front fog lights. Or when visibility is seriously reduced. What does anyone know another answer for the same question? Does anyone know any other answer for the same question? So one answer is when it's foggy, another answer is when visibility is seriously reduced. کلمو چې لید ډیر زیات کمزورې وي یا کتلې نشي تیاره وي نو په هغه صورت کې یو بل جواب هم لري دا سوال. Does anyone know any other answer for the same question? When visibility is less than 100 meters. So if you cannot see up to 100 meters, then you can use fog lights, okay? So when you cannot see up to 100 meters, you can see fog lights as well. Just write it down so you remember, guys. ځان سره نوٹ کړئ چې بیا مو په یاد وي چې 100 میټره پورې ستاسو نظر کار نه کوي کتلی نشي نو په هغه صورت کې هم تاسو کولی شئ فوگ لایټس استعمال کړئ.
You have stopped in an emergency area. What must you do before you rejoin the carriageway? Give an arm signal as you are moving off. Use the emergency telephone. Switch on your vehicle's headlights. Move away with your hazard lights on.
Bali. You have stopped in an emergency area. What must you do before you rejoin the carriageway? Use the telephone. And why would you use the telephone? Does anyone know why would we use the telephone? کله چې موږ د emergency area نه واپس موټروي ته نه وځو یا carriageway ته سړک ته نه وځو ولې موږ ټلیفون استعمالو؟ چاته د علت پته شته وجه چې not for emergency. Adam, no. The reason we call the emergency service is because in the emergency refuge area you cannot gain speed. See, it's a small area like in here. So once you see, that's the emergency refuge area. So if you try to come out in here, what will happen? You see these cars coming from the back, you will end up at an accident. So what do you have to do? You have to call the emergency services. See, that's the emergency telephone there. You call the emergency services so they can close one lane for you. They will close this lane. See, they will close one lane for you so you can join the carriageway. Like I'll show you another picture so you remember it. Like in here, if you look in here, you see they closed one lane. Why did they close one lane? For incident access. Okay, so that's why we use the emergency telephone. So the emergency services can block one lane or close one lane for you so we can join the carriageway. Is that clear? چرا باید emergency زنگ بزنیم؟ تا که وا برای ما یک لین بند کنه تا که ما برای ما جای پیدا شود که داخل carriageway بریم یا داخل موتروی بریم یا داخل سرک بریم.
Which sign means there will be two-way traffic crossing your route ahead?
Which sign means there will be two-way traffic crossing your route ahead? A, no. Azuzi, that's a wrong answer. This one is give way to oncoming traffic. This is give way to oncoming traffic. Yes, Begum, look. You see, in English, it's very easy to remember, guys. In English, crossing means when someone is going from right to the left or left to right. That's what crossing is. Affluent, you got this wrong, okay? That's two-way traffic straight ahead. In English, you see, when someone is crossing the road, it means that he's going from the right side of the road to the left side, or from the left side of the road to the right side. That's what crossing means, okay? This is not the shape of crossing, because that's up and down. You see, this is left to right and right to left. That's the crossing shape. If you just remember that, that's what crossing is, then you will never get it wrong. Okay, ګوره انګلیش کې مونږ crossing څه ته وایو؟ کله چې یو شی د یو ښي لاس نه چپ طرف ته ځي یا چپ طرف ته ښي طرف ته ځي. کو خیال هم کړی، کو فکر وکړئ څوک چې د سړک د یو طرف نه بل طرف ته اوړي، مونږ وایو چې he is crossing the road، مطلب د یو طرف نه بل طرف ته اوړي. خو د هغه شی مونږ وګورو دا هم په هماغه شیپ کې دی، د ښي طرف نه چپ طرف ته دی او د چپ طرف نه ښي طرف ته دی. نو د دې د وجې دا ډېر اسانه دی چې په ذهن کې یاد ولرئ. او دا د crossing shape نه دی، دا ځکه پاس او لاندې دی. This is two-way traffic straight ahead. That's two-way traffic crossing your route ahead. Okay, is that clear, guys? And this is pass either side to get to the same destination.
Where can you find reflective amber studs on a motorway, separating the slip road from the motorway? On the left-hand edge of the road, on the right-hand edge of the road, separating the lanes.
Where can you find reflective amber studs on a motorway? Okay, well done. Does anyone get confused in this one? Does anyone need help with the studs? Well done, everyone got it right. You see, studs are very easy to remember, okay? Okay, it's very easy to remember. Let me just explain that. You know, in between the roads, in between the lane of the roads, what color are the let me just show you a picture. So what color are in between the road in here? Can we see all the roads? It's just watch. In between the lanes, what color are they normally? When you're driving on the road, what color you see in between, in the middle of the road normally? White. So in between the motorway is same as like other roads. In between the motorway, it's white. Okay. And what about, can we stop on the motorway or not? All the motorway is no stopping. You're not allowed to stop on the motorway apart from emergency. And what's the no stopping color? Do you know the no stopping? Let me just show you a picture. You see, red route. What's the color of red route? Red. You see, same as like a red route on normal road. On motorway, in the left hand side, you will see red studs. Okay, same as like in here on red route, you see red lines. In motorway, there are red studs. So where will be red studs? In the left hand side. Same as like red route, you will see red studs in the left hand side of the motorway. So it's very, very easy. So in between we got white, in the left hand side we got red, and now we left with amber and we left with green. So think of when you're going somewhere, on which traffic light can you go? If you want to go somewhere, on which traffic light can you go? Can you go on green, amber or red? On which traffic light do we go? Green, exactly. Well done. So on green studs we go inside the motorway, and also on green studs we go out of the motorway. Green studs when we're going into the motorway, and also when we go out of the motorway, that's where you see green studs. And how do we go out of the motorway? We go out of the motorway through exits. And how do we enter the motorway? Through entrances. So exits and entrances, that's green. And what's that road called? That road is slip road. See, the road through which we enter the motorway or through which we go out of the motorway, that's slip road. It's very, very easy to remember. Okay, and then we left with amber. And where will be amber? So we got middle of the motorway, then we got left side of the motorway, which is red, the red route. Then we got entry points and exit points, that's green. The only one that's left, that's on the right hand side. So it's very easy. So the right side is Amba. Is that clear? It's very easy to remember, guys. Hello, Siraj. So it was Amba studs. So Amba studs are in the right hand side. Is that clear, guys? Any? Yeah, so we left with the right side. So it's very easy to remember. Motorway is a red route. So on the left side, it will be red studs. In the middle of the motorway, it's white because everywhere it's white on the normal road as well. Entry points, exit points, green. And the right side, which is left, that's Amba. And also on the right hand side, you see what's this area called? The right side of the motorway, you know this area. What do we call here? Let me just show you a picture, guys. What do we call this area? Omega 3. I hope you passed the test. See, that's the right side. And what's this called? This is the central reservation. This is the central reservation. Hard shoulder is always in the left hand side. Okay, the right hand side, this is central reservation. And what did we learn? On the right side there is Amba studs, and also the right side is central reservation. So the Amba studs will be next to the central reservation, and hard shoulder is in the left hand side, guys. Don't get confused in this. Hard shoulder is in the left hand side, not the right hand side. Okay, this is the hard shoulder. And what do we use the hard shoulder for? Emergency. So when your vehicle breaks down, you stop on the hard shoulder. And the red studs are also in the left hand side. That's why it's next to the hard shoulder. Okay, Omega, did you pass? Did you pass your test?
What must you do when you're overtaking a car at night? Flash your headlights before overtaking. Make sure you do not dazzle other road users. Switch your headlights to main beam before overtaking. Select a higher gear.
What must you do when you're overtaking a car at night? Make sure you do not dazzle other road users. Does anyone know any other answer for this question? Coach, I know that's the wrong answer. Make sure you don't dazzle other road users. Another answer is be aware of bends in the road ahead. Be aware of bends in the road ahead. Be aware of dip in the road ahead. Be aware of junction in the road ahead. So they're all the right answers. Okay, just remember dip in the road, bends in the road, junctions, and also don't dazzle other road users. Okay, so they could bring you one of these answers: bend, dip, junction, and at night time. So when you're driving, you should not dazzle other road users as well.
What makes the vehicle in the picture environmentally friendly? It's powered by electricity. It's powered by diesel. It's powered by unleaded petrol. It's powered by gravity.
Why this vehicle is environmental friendly? You can see that's the electricity cables on top of it. So it's powered by electricity. Yeah, it's powered by electricity.
You're at the front of a queue of traffic waiting to turn right into a side road. Why is it important to check your right mirror just before turning? To check for overtaking vehicles. To make sure the side road is clear. To check for emerging traffic. To look for pedestrians about to cross.
You're at the front of a queue of traffic waiting to turn right into a side road. Why is it important to check your right mirror before turning? Some people make mistake in this. The right answer is to check for overtaking vehicles. Guys, can you see it properly? Does the safeguarding? Yeah, to check for overtaking traffic. Yes, everyone says yes. No. Alaikum salam. Guys, do you know why this is not the right answer? For look, is it blur? I'm not sure why is that. Okay. Do you know why this is not the right answer to look for pedestrian about to cross? Because in the question it says why you check the right mirror. When you're looking in the right mirror, you can only see what's behind you. You can't see the road. You can't see the side road in your right mirror. That's why the right answer is to check for overtaking vehicles. To check for overtaking vehicles.
How will your journey be affected by traveling outside the busy times of day? Your journey will take longer. Your journey will use more fuel. Your journey will be more hazardous. Your journey will have fewer delays.
How will your journey be affected by traveling outside the busy times of day? Outside the busy times of day, okay? Just remember, don't get confused. Outside the busy times of the day. Not when it's busy. So when it's not busy, when you travel in that time, what will happen? You will have fewer delays. You will have fewer delays. Or you will have easy journey as well. You will have easy journey or fewer delays.
At traffic lights, what does it mean when the amber light shows on its own? Stop at the stop line. Go if the way is clear. Prepare to go. Go if no pedestrians are crossing.
A traffic light, what does it mean when the amber light shows on its own? You must stop at the stop line. You must stop at the stop line. Why do we stop? Because after green it changes to amber, and after amber it changes to red. So that's why we have to stop at the stop line.
What action should you take when you see flashing amber lights under a school warning sign? Reduce speed until you're clear of the area. Keep up your speed and sound the horn. Increase your speed to clear the area quickly. Wait at the lights until they stop flashing.
What action should you take when you see flashing amber lights under school warning sign? So when will we see these lights flashing? Does anyone know the answer? When will we see these lights flashing? دا لایټونه به کله لګیدلی او بندیږي به دا به کله روښانه وي. When would we see these lights flashing? No, it does not mean wait. You will see these lights flashing when it's school time, okay? When kids are going to school in the morning, or when the school time finishes, when they're going home. That's when you will see these lights flashing, and it means that kids will be on the road. Kids will be crossing the road, and what you have to do, you have to drive very slowly at the school times. کله چې دا لایټونه لګیږي او بندیږي د دې دا معنی ده چې دا هغه ټیم لګیږي او بندیږي کله چې ماشومان سحر مکتب ته ځي او یا د غرمې مکتب چوټي شوی کور ته ځي، نو هغه ټیم دی روډ کراس کوي. نو هغه ټیم دا لایټونه لګیدلی او چې کله هم دا لایټونه لګیدلی نو باید تاسو څه شی وکړئ؟ په ارام هغې ساحه کې ډرایوینګ وکړئ. So when you see these lights flashing, what do we have to do? We have to drive very slowly in that area. So the answer would be reduce speed until you're clear of the area.
Why is traveling in neutral for long distances known as coasting? Bad driving technique. The engine will run faster. It will cause the car to skid. There will not be any engine braking. It will make the engine stall.
Why is traveling in neutral for long distances known as coasting? Bad driving technique. You see, whenever your vehicle is in neutral, your engine does not control your vehicle. Your vehicle is rolling freely. So when your vehicle is in neutral, your engine is not controlling your vehicle. You cannot slow down your vehicle, or you can't control it with your engine. There will be no engine braking. So there will not be any engine braking.
Why could it be dangerous to keep the clutch down or select neutral for long periods of time while you're driving? Fuel spillage will occur. Engine damage may be caused. You'll have less steering and braking control. It will wear tires out more quickly.
Why could it be dangerous to keep the clutch down or select neutral for long periods of time while you're driving? Same question again. There will be no engine braking. The vehicle will be running freely. The engine will not be able to control the vehicle. So you will have less steering and braking control.
What should you do if the red lights start flashing as you approach a level crossing? Go over it quickly. Stop before the barrier. Go over it carefully. Switch on your hazard warning lights.
So when you see red lights flashing, what do you have to do? You have to stop. Same as like red light in traffic light means you have to stop. Same in here. When you see red light, you must stop. Even if you see red or if you see steady amber, you will have to stop. Okay, so stop before the barrier. Okay, same as like normal traffic lights, you will have to stop. Like څنګه چې په normal traffic light کې سور light وي نو تاسو ودرېږئ همدغسې هم چنان چې په level crossing کې سره لایټونه وګورئ لګېږي بندېږي بیا هم باید ودرېږئ. So stop before the barrier, stop before the stop line.
You're driving behind a heavy goods vehicle. What should you do if it signals left but steers to the right? Hold your speed and sound your horn. Drive on keeping to the left. Slow down and let the vehicle turn. Overtake on the right of it.
You're driving behind a heavy goods vehicle. What should you do if it signals left but steers to the right? First, you should know why would they do that. Why would they signal left but steer to the right? Because a heavy goods vehicle or long vehicle, they always need extra room to turn around. And what should we do in that situation? We should give them room so they can turn. So we should slow down and let the vehicle turn. که په کوم لفظ پوه نشئ، که په کوم سوال پوه نشئ، جواب پوه نشئ، نو تپوس وکړئ او کومه اوس تشریح نه کړو نو ځان سره سوال نمبر ولیکئ، آخر کې بیا تپوس کولی شئ.
Do you need to plan rest stops when you're planning a long journey? Yes, you should plan to stop every half an hour. No, you'll be less tired if you get there as soon as possible. Yes, regular stops help concentration. No, only fuel stops will be needed.
Do you need to plan rest stops when you're planning a long journey? The answer is yes. Yes, definitely. Yes, regular stops help concentration.
You're driving at night on an unlit road. What should you do if you're following another vehicle? Use full beam headlights. Use dipped headlights. Switch off your headlights. Flash your headlights.
Focus. Yes. You're driving at night on an unlit road. Unlit road means when there is no lights. Unlit road چرته چې لایټونه نه وي هغې ته unlit وي. Well lit چرته چې روښانه سړک وي لایټونه وي. So unlit when there is no lights. What should you do if you're following another vehicle? You should use dipped headlights. What about if you were driving at night on an unlit road and there was no vehicle in front of you? What would you do? Which traffic lights which lights can you use? So if you're driving at night on an unlit road and there is no vehicle in front of you, which lights would you use? Not same. No, Abdul, that's a wrong answer. Then we use full beam, okay? So if it's nighttime, unlit road, and there is no vehicle ahead of us, then we use full beam. شپوي او په سړک لایټونه نه وي او مخکې مو که بل موټر نه وي نو په هغه صورت کې باید تاسو فل بیم لایټونه استعمال کړئ تر څو سړک درته صحیح ښکاره شي. So why are we using dipped headlights? Because we're following another vehicle. If we use full beam, it will dazzle their eyes, okay? کو ګوره خاص شپوي سړک باندې لایټونه نه وي او موږ بل موټر پسې شاته روان یو، که موږ فل بیم استعمال کو زموږ د موټر لایټونه د هغې سترګې برېښي، د دې د وجې موږ ډیپټ هیډ لایټس استعمالو. خو که شپه وي او لایټونه نه وي په سړک او مخکې موټر نه وي نو په هغه صورت کې بیا موږ فل بیم استعمالو.
You're driving on a motorway. What does it mean if the car in front shows its hazard warning lights for a short time? Traffic ahead is slowing or stopping suddenly. The driver wants you to overtake. The other car is going to change lanes. There's a police speed check ahead.
You're driving on a motorway. What does it mean if the car in front shows its hazard warning lights for a short time? It means there is a hazard ahead, and what we have to do, we have to slow down. So traffic ahead is slowing or stopping suddenly. که مخکې موټر خطر لایټونه ولګي، hazard لایټونه ولګي، د دې څه معنا ده چې مخکې traffic چې دی ورو کېږي یا ودرېږي یودمي suddenly، یودمي ته وایي یکدمي.
What should you do if you begin to feel drowsy while you're driving? Stop and rest as soon as possible. Turn the heater up to keep you warm and comfortable. Close the car windows to help you concentrate. Continue with your journey but drive more slowly.
If you feel drowsy is if you feel sleepy. If you feel sleepy, what do you have to do while you're driving? You should stop and rest as soon as possible. ودرېږئ او دمه وکئ څومره زر چې کولی شئ.
Which vehicles are prohibited from using the motorway? Double-deck buses, powered mobility scooters, motorcycles over 50cc, cars with automatic transmission.
Which vehicles are prohibited from using the motorway? Prohibited means not allowed. So which vehicles are not allowed from using the motorway? Prohibited معنا دا ده چې اجازت ونه لري، نو کومه موټرو ته اجازت نه وي چې موټروی استعمال کړي. Powered mobility scooters. Powered mobility scooters. You see that scooters that's used by disabled people. That's powered mobility scooters. هغه کم سکوټرې چې برقي به مو کتلي برقي چوکۍ سي معیوبینې چې استعمالوي هغې ته powered mobility scooters وایي، هغې ته اجازت نه وي چې په موټروی کې لاړ سي. So powered mobility scooter.
You're driving with your front fog lights switched on. What should you do if the fog has cleared? Switch them off as long as visibility remains good. Leave them on if other drivers have their lights on. Flash them to warn oncoming traffic that it's foggy. Drive with them on instead of your headlights.
You're driving with your front fog lights switched on. What should you do if the fog is cleared? So if the fog is cleared, we do not need to use the fog lights anymore. Why? Because that will dazzle other road users, and also it will mislead them as well. So if it's a red fog light, it will mislead them, and also it will dazzle them. And the front fog lights, it will dazzle other road users. So switch them off as long as visibility remains good. Ibrahim Khail Naguraha flashed him to warn oncoming traffic that it's foggy. Good the دا معنی ده چې مخامخ نه چې کوم موټر را روان وي هغې ته فلش لایټ ورکړئ چې تر څو خبر شي چې هوا ګردجنه ده یا خرابه ده. خو تا ته په سوال کې دا ویلي دي چې کله هوا صافه شي نو تاسو په فرنٹ فوګ لایټسونه لګولي وو، هوا صافه شو نو باید څه شی وکړئ؟ باید بند یې کړئ. Switch them off as long visibility remains good.
What will be a serious distraction while you're driving? Switching on your demister, using your windscreen washers, looking in your door mirror, looking at road maps.
काशी ये जो normal 4-in-1 app है वही है. What will be serious distraction while you're driving? Distraction دغه ته وي چې ستاسو پام بل خوا وړلی سي، څه شی ستاسو پام یا ستاسو ذهن بل خوا وړلی سي چې کله ډرایوینګ کوئ. Looking at road maps. Looking at road maps. So before we start on a journey, that's when we should set the road maps دینه مخکې چې موږ په سفر روان سو باید ماپ په معیار کو نسی بیا ډرایوینګ کو په هغه وخت کې ورته ګورو.
What would suggest you're driving on an icy road? There's less tire noise, there's less engine noise, there's less transmission noise, there's less wind noise.
What would you suggest you're driving on an icy road? Okay, one answer is less tire noise. Does anyone know another answer for the same question? This question got another answer as well. Does anyone remember? The other answer is light steering. Okay, light steering. Light steering. Steering ba mu naram si او بل څه شی دی چې د ټیر आवाज به مو کم سي نو دا دواړه په ذهن کې یاد ولرئ. So less tire noise and also light steering as well.
What color are the reflective studs between the hard shoulder and the left-hand lane of a motorway? White, green, amber, red.
Okay, what color are the reflective studs between the hard shoulder and the left-hand lane of a motorway? Guys, do you remember where is the hard shoulder? Hard shoulder is in the left-hand side. Hard shoulder is in the left-hand side. And the red studs was on the left-hand side. Why red studs? Because motorway is a no stopping road. You're not allowed to stop on the motorway. That's why there are red studs in the left-hand side. Same as like on a normal road, there are red roots in the left-hand side. In the motorway, there are red studs in the left-hand side. لکه څنګه چې په نورمال سړکونو کې سری خطونه لګولي ترڅو تاسو ته خبر درکړي چې د ودرېدو اجازه نه لري نو همدغسې په موټروي باندې چپ طرف ته په موټروي ټوله موټروي نو سټاپینګ ده تاسو نشئ کولی بغیر د ایمرجنسي نه ودرېږئ نو د دې له امله چپ طرف ته چې دی سره سټډز وي نو red studs.
You're driving in a built-up area that has traffic calming measures. What should you do when you approach a road hump? Wait for any pedestrians to cross. Move across to the left-hand side of the road. Check your mirror and slow down. Stop and check both pavements.
You're driving in a built-up area that has traffic calming measures. What should you do when you approach road hump? Built-up area, residential area. Built-up area هغه ساحې ته وي چېرته چې کورونه وي. تاسو په داسې ساحه کې ډرایوینګ کوئ چېرته چې کورونه وي او جمپونه په هغه سړک باندې وي او تاسو ته مخکې جمپ راسي نو باید څه شی وکړئ؟ Check your mirror. So remember guys, obviously if you see a road hump you will have to slow down, and before you slow down stop or change direction. First thing, what should you do? You should look in the mirror. دینه مخکې چې تاسو د خپل موټر سپیډ کم کړئ ودروئ او یا یې ډایرکشن بدل کړئ یا یې مخه بدلوئ نو اول تاسو باید په شیشه کې وګورئ ترڅو why do we look in the mirror? To assess how our actions will affect the traffic that's behind us. موږ ولې په شیشه کې ګورو چې کله ورو کېږو یا ودرېږو ترڅو زموږ د موټر ورو کېدل یا ودرېدل په شاته ټرافیک باندې څه اغېزه اچوي د دې د وجې موږ په شیشه کې ګورو.
You see a pedestrian carrying a white stick that also has a red band. What does this mean? They are deaf and blind. They have limited mobility. They are deaf. They are blind.
So if you see a person carrying, you see that's a white stick with a red band. So he's deaf and blind. So the white is blind and then that's deaf. So deaf and blind. What about if he had a stick, just a white stick? What would that mean? که دغه کس سره خالی سپین لرګی وي یا سپین امسا وه نو د هغې به څه معنا وه؟ What would that mean guys? Not deaf. Deaf, Justin, deaf does not need a stick, okay? Laila, deaf does not need a stick. So if someone can't hear, he does not need a stick, isn't he? So the answer would be he's blind. Okay? So the person will be blind. If it's a red and white, deaf and blind. If it's just white, he's blind. Okay.
You're performing cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, on a casualty. Someone stops to help. What should you get them to do? Fetch a privacy screen. Fetch a blanket. Fetch a defibrillator. Fetch a first aid kit.
You're performing CPR on a casualty, someone stops to help. What should you get them to do? Walaikum salam Firdaus. Fetch a defibrillator. Defibrillator से د پاره کو خیال مو کړی سي کله د انسان قلب ودرېږي هسپتال کې مو کتلی په سینه باندې دغه دي چې کرنٹ ورکړي ترڅو واپس زړه چالان سي هغه ته defibrillator وایي. Defibrillator.
What would you expect to find at a contraflow system on a motorway? Temporary traffic lights, wider lanes than normal, lower speed limits, road humps.
What would you expect to find at a contraflow system on a motorway? Harman, not A. There, you won't see traffic lights on motorway, okay? Even if it's contraflow system. So the answer is lower speed limits, okay? Lower speed limits. If you look in here, it says wider lanes than normal. Is this the right answer or it's a wrong answer? Wider lanes than normal. کله سي په موټروي باندې کنټرافلو سیستم وي کنټرافلو سیستم کله وي کله سي په موټروي باندې کار روان وي نو په هغه صورت کې لاینونه غزیدلی وي کولاو وي یا تنګ وي دلته ویلی سي لاینونه کولاو وي. This is a wrong answer, okay? That's a wrong answer. But if they say narrow lanes than normal, then that would be a right answer, okay? In case if in the answer section they say narrow lanes than normal, then that will be a right answer, just to let you know. Let me just show you a picture so you guys remember it. په جواب کې تاسو ته داسې لیکلی وي چې تنګ لینونه به وي نو هغه جواب صحیح دی. اوس که دلته موږ وګورو نارملي لینونه دومره تنګ نه وي خو چونکې دغلته اوس کنټرافلو سیستم دی د دې د وجې لینونه تنګ وي. If you look in here, if you look at the lanes are narrow, they're not wider. So if in the answer section if one of the answers says narrow lanes than normal, then that would be a right answer, okay? And lower speed limits, you say lower speed limits. If you look in here, what's the speed limit normally on a motorway? Normally on the motorway the speed limit is 70, and if you look in here, what's the speed limit? It's 50. So lower speed limits. Normally per motorway ki speed limits avya vi ko dalta mangu guru da contraflow system the speed limit is so de 50 no kam da na lower de no lower speed limits.
Who's responsible for making sure that a vehicle is not overloaded? The driver of the vehicle, the licensing authority, the owner of the items being carried, the person who loaded the vehicle.
Who's responsible for making sure that vehicle is not overloaded? ابراهیم خیل د څنګه د جوابونه ډیر غلط ورکړي. سوال دا دی چې کله په سړک باندې په موټر کې وزن زیات وي د هغې ذمهواري په چا راځي. Just remember guys, if it's an ongoing issue on the road, the responsibility is on the whoever is driving the vehicles. If it's something happening on the road, if it's an ongoing issue on the road when you're driving, the responsibility is on the driver. For example, if a vehicle is overloaded, driver. If there is a child with no child seat, driver responsibility. If it's someone under 14 years old and he does not have seat belt, that's the driver's responsibility. And if it's something to do with documents, whose responsibility is that? If it's something to do with documents, that responsibility is on the registered vehicle keeper. که د اسنادو باره کې سوال راشي د هغې ذمهواري چې ده په چا چې موټر په نوم وي څوک چې رجسټرډ اونري د هغه په سر راځي او چې کله په سړک کې کوم مسله راشي موټر څوک چلوي د هغه په سر راځي لکه موټر کې وزن زیات وي یا ماشوم وي چایلډ سیټ ونه لري یا 14 کالونو عمر کم وي او سیټ بیلټ ونه لري نو په هغې باندې ډرایور باندې راځي. Okay, so the driver of the vehicle.
What will happen to your car when you drive up a steep hill? The engine will work harder, the steering will feel heavier, the high gears will pull better, overtaking will be easier.
What will happen to your car when you drive up a steep hill? کله چې تاسو موټر په چړۍ کې پاس بوځئ په موټر باندې مو څه چل کیږي The engine will work hard. په انجن باندې ډیر زور راځي. The engine will work hard. ابراهیم خیل بیا دې غلط کو. The engine will work harder. The steering will feel heavier. When will the steering feel heavier? Does anyone know the answer for this question? کله به مو د موټر steering سخت وي. Does anyone know answer for this question? Yeah, when you have underinflated tires. کله چې د موټر په ټایرونو کې هوا کمه وي underinflated tires, then the steering will feel heavier. Okay, so the answer in here is the engine will work harder.
You want to turn right from a junction. What should you do if your view is restricted by parked vehicles? Move out quickly, but be prepared to stop. Stop, then move forward slowly until you have a clear view. Sound your horn and pull out if there's no reply. Stop, get out and look along the main road to check.
You want to turn right from a junction. What should you do if your view is restricted by parked vehicles? You should slowly move forward so you can see the road properly. So stop, then move forward slowly until you have a clear view. And there is another answer for the same question, which is reflection of traffic in windows. Reflection of traffic in windows. That's also the right answer for the same question. Looking at the reflection of traffic in windows.
You're driving in busy traffic. You want to pull up just after a junction on the left. When should you signal? As you're passing or just after the junction? Well, before you reach the junction. Just before you reach the junction. It would be better not to signal at all.
Oh, this is one of the most common questions that comes in the test. Okay, the question is you're driving in busy traffic, you want to pull up just after a junction on the left. When should you signal? Dear Masrufa Sarakte. You see guys, a lot of you think it's this one. Okay, let me just explain this. So let me just show you in 1 second guys. Because a lot of you got this wrong. Okay, so if you stopping here, if you want to stop in here and you driving this green car, when should you signal? So if you want to stop here and you driving this green car, when should you signal? So if you signal, this is the junction on the left. So if you signal before the junction, what would that mean? It would mean that you're turning left. You see? You're turning left. Okay, so when should you signal? As you are passing, which is here, or just after the junction, which is here. Okay, so if you stopping here, when should you signal? As you are passing or just after the junction. Okay, سوال که دغه ستاسو موټري تاسو غواړئ چې دغه ځای کې ودرېږئ د جنکشن نه وروسته دغه چپ طرف ته ودرېږئ نو کله باید اشاره ولګوئ که دغه ځای کې موږ اشاره ولګو د دې خو دا معنا څه چې دلته موږ نه وځو نه نو کله باید موږ اشاره ولګو کله چې د دې جنکشن نه تېرېږو کوم چې دا ځای راځي او یا چې څنګه جنکشن نه تېر سو دغلته چې دلته موږ اشاره ولګو نو د دې به دا معنا سي چې موږ دلته ودرېږو so as you're passing or just after the junction. Okay, Is that clear, guys? So as you're passing or just after the junction? As you're passing or just after the junction? Because a lot of you got this wrong. Nasser Arafat, no. Not well before you reach the junction. So if you signal before you reach the junction, Abdul, daga jawab na dekha. Matasta Parks ke explain humko.
What's a rumble device designed to do? Alert you to low tire pressure, prevent cattle escaping, give directions, alert you to a hazard.
What's rumble device designed to do? Does not give direction. Alert you to a hazard, okay? Alert you to a hazard. Rumble چیغ زدن میگه. خب رامبل چیغ زدن میگه. انگلیسی رامبل که هست. رامبل چه ده چغی وحالو تا رامبلینگ وی خواه. نو دیتا ولی رامبل وی رامبل دیوایس ولی وی کسی کلاس موتر ده دیده پاس ورشی موتر مو دیر زیاد شور کهی ایره چرا می چیغ زدن می امی ای که هست رامبل که هست او را چیغ زدن میگه. چرا می لاینه را چیغ زدن میگه؟ وقتی که موتر در سرش میره موتریتان صدا بسیار شور میکنه. ځکه کله د دې د پاسه موټر ورشي دا داسې دي لکه واړه جمپونو په رنګ. کله چې موټر پې د پاسه ورسي چې موټر مو څومره تیز وي هغومره ستاسو موټر شور کوي. تاسو مجبوری چې خپل سپید مو راکم کوي. ولې؟ ځکه که په دې عکس کې موږ وګورو دغه څه شی دی، دا رنډاباوټ دی. دغلته رنډاباوټ دی ګورئ. رنډاباوټ څومره مخکې دی؟ 100 میټرز وروسته. کوم دا د څه دپاره؟ دا د دې دپاره دی تر څو موږ خپل سپید را کنټرول کړي. او علت یې څه دی؟ ځکه چې مخکې رنډاباوټ دی. او رنډاباوټ کو تاسو فکر کړئ رنډاباوټ چې دی تاسو به د رنډاباوټ ساين کتلی وي هغه په هزارډ کې دننه وي. ګوره ښه زه تاسو ته وښیم د رنډاباوټ ساين کو مو کتلی وي دغه see that's the roundabout sign and you can see that's a hazard as well. So roundabouts are hazards, so they are alerting you to a hazard. ګوره که تاسو ګورئ roundabout چې دی هغه خپله هم یو خطر دی. نو تاسو ته دا رمبل ډیوایس څه شی کوي؟ تاسو ته خبرداری درکوي چې مخکې خطر دی. او خطر څه شی دی؟ roundabout دی. او بل جواب د دې سوال دا دی چې تاسو د خپل سرعت نه خبرئ یا د خپل د موټر د سپید نه مو خبرئ. څنګه مو خبرئ؟ چې څومره ستاسو د موټر سپید زیات وي هغومره ستاسو موټر شور کوي. او دا رمبل چې دی دا چغې وهلو ته هم وي او یا شور کولو ته هم رمبل وي. نو د دې د وجې دې ته رمبل ډیوایس وي. د زیړو پټو ته داسې دي داسې نارمل رنګ نه دی. دا ډېر ثیک رنګ وي ډبل رنګ وي چې کله موټر پې ورسي داسې نیم انچ یا انچ پورې دغسې دغه لري نو موټر ډېر زیات شور کوي. د دې د وجې دې ته رمبل ډیوایس وي. نو alert you to a hazard. And what's the hazard? You can see that's the roundabout. And how far is the roundabout? You can see it's 100 meters ahead. So alert you to a hazard.
You're at an incident. What could you do to help an unconscious casualty? Move them to somewhere more comfortable. Check that they are breathing normally. Splash their face with cool water. Take photographs of the scene.
You're at an incident. What could you do to help an unconscious casualty? تاسو یو حادثې ته ورسېدئ. تاسو څنګه کولی شئ کومک وکړئ یو زخمی سره چې کوم بېهوشی. casualty زخمی ته وایي unconscious بېهوشه ده. نو څنګه ورسره موږ کولی شو هیلپ وکړو؟ check that they are breathing normally. او بګورو چې آیا هغوی نارمل تنفس کولی شي او که نه شي ساه اخیستلی شي او که نه شي. check that they are breathing normally.
What should you do if your vehicle pulls to one side when you use the brakes? Change gear and pump the brake pedal. Have the brakes checked as soon as possible. Use your parking brake at the same time. Increase the pressure in your tires.
What could you do What should you do if your vehicle pulls to one side when you use brakes? Yeah, so there is something wrong with your brakes. So have the brakes checked as soon as possible. G Mike, not D. Not increase pressure in your tire. Check your brakes. So have the brakes checked as soon as possible. Guys, if any one of you did not follow me, please do follow, guys. And if you could share the love with your friends, I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
When may a passenger travel in a car without wearing a seat belt? When they are under 14 years old. When they are under 1.5 meters, 5 feet, in height. When they are sitting in the rear seat. When they are exempt for medical reasons.
Well, thank you, Khan, for sharing. Thank you, guys, for sharing. When may a passenger travel in a car without wearing a seat belt? Yeah. کله یو کس کولی شي موټر کې بغیر د سیټ بیلټ سفر وکړي کله چې ډاکټر ورته د کوم مرض د وجې اجازه ورکړې وي when they're exempt for medical reasons. For example, if a lady is heavily pregnant, I don't think they could wear seat belt. Just giving an example. So when they're exempt for medical reasons.
What does this sign mean? No through road. Free parking zone ends. End of controlled parking zone. End of traffic calming zone.
What does this sign mean? You see, to understand this sign, let me just show you another sign so you remember. So that's one sign, and there is this sign. Okay, what does this sign mean? Controlled zone. Thank you, Hargesa. That's controlled zone. So that's the sign for control zone. And when this control zone area finishes, you see this sign. Okay, so that's control zone. That's end of control zone. Control zone, end of control zone. Okay, end of control parking zone.
You're traveling on a narrow section of road. What should you do if a horse rider ahead is riding in the center of the lane? Sound your horn to alert them to your presence. Move across to the right and try to ease past them. Get up close behind to encourage them to move aside. Stay behind and allow them to ride in this position.
You're traveling on a narrow section of road. What should you do if a horse rider ahead is riding in the center of the lane? Narrow چې دی تنگ سړک ته وي تاسو په داسې سړک کې روان یاستئ کوم چې تنگ وي او مخکې یو اسب سوار روان وي او هغه هم د سړک په منځ کې نو باید تاسو څه شی وکړئ stay behind and allow them to ride in this position شاته ترې پاتې سئ او هغوی ته اجازه ورکړئ چې هماغسې روان اوسیږي.
You're in a built-up area at night and the road is well lit. Why should you use dipped headlights? So that you can see further along the road. So that you can be easily seen by others. So that you can switch to main beam quickly. So that you can go at a much faster speed.
You're in a built-up area at night and the road is well lit. Why should you use dipped headlights? تاسو د شپې ډرایوینګ کوئ چېرته چې سړک باندې لایټونه وي یا روښانه سړک وي built up area کوم ځای کې چې کورونه وي یا residential area built up area or residential area. Why would we use dipped headlights? So that you can be easily seen by others, so others can see you more easily. کله چې د شپې موږ ډرایوینګ کوو په سړک باندې لایټونه هم وي او کوم داسې ساحه کې موږ ډرایوینګ کوو چېرته چې کورونه وي built up area کورونه چې کوم محلي ساحه چې وي ولې باید بیا هم موږ لایټونه استعمال کوو تر څو نور مو په اسانۍ سره ولیدلی شي.
What does this sign mean? Steep hill downwards. Quayside or riverbank. Uneven road surface. Road liable to flooding.
What does this sign mean? Quayside or riverbank. دا هغه ځای کې وي چېرته چې د سړک غاړې ته اوبه وي سړک څنګ سره اوبه وي هلته دا ساین وي تر څو تاسو ته خبرداری درکړي چې د هغې خوا اوبه دي. Quayside د سیند غاړه riverbank یا د نهر غاړه Quayside or riverbank.
What can cause excessive or uneven tire wear? A faulty gearbox, a faulty braking system, a faulty electrical system, a faulty exhaust system.
What can cause excessive or uneven tire wear? Such as tasu tyruna kharabawalishi. You see, one answer is a faulty braking system. Does anyone know any other answer for the same question? There is another answer which is a faulty suspension, okay? A faulty suspension. If you have fault in the suspension, that will also damage your tires as well. Suspension क्या است؟ ایسا همی سرخ چیز که است همی خط که کشیدیم همی پرزای موتر که است ایره چیز میگه سسپنشن میگه همی کلیس پارتی سسپنشن است اگر در می کدام پرابلم باشه تایرایتان خراب میکنه. So that's the parts of suspension. So if you have fault in the suspension, that will also damage your tires as well. کلاسی مو بریکونو که مسئله وی او یا په سسپنشن که مسئله وی هغه سره تاسو ټایرونه خرابېږي.
You're on a motorway. When can you use hazard warning lights? When you slow down quickly because of danger ahead. When a vehicle is following too closely. When you're being towed by another vehicle. When you're using the hard shoulder as a running lane.
You're on a motorway. When can you use hazard warning lights? په motorway باندې hazard lights کله استعمالولی شي؟ Yeah, when you slow down quickly because of danger ahead. کله چې تاسو یو دمی خپل موټر راورو کوئ که مخکې چې مو خطر وي د هغې توجه نو باید بیا hazard lightونه استعمال کړو.
Where should you take particular care to look for motorcyclists and cyclists? On dual carriageways, at zebra crossings, on one-way streets, at junctions.
Where should you take particular care to look for motorcyclists and cyclists? Yeah, junctions. چارایانو کې باید د موټرسایکل او د سایکلو ډیر خیال وساتو. ولې ځکه چې موټرسایکل او سایکل چې دي ډیر په اسانۍ سره یو شي شاته پټېدلی شي ځکه واړه دي. دې د وجې هغې ته ډیر پام وکړو.
What hazard do you need to look out for as you drive under the bridge? The height of the bridge, pedestrians walking in the road, a narrowing of the road, overhanging tree branches.
What hazard do you need to look out for as you drive under the bridge? The answer is pedestrian walking in the road. د پل د لاندې چې تیریږو کم خطر ته مو خیال وي چې کم خلک په سړک کې راځي. وجه څه ده د دې جواب؟ وجه دا ده که دلته موږ وګورو دغه ساین دی people walking along the road. So why this is the right answer? Because the information is in the video itself. See, you can see that's the sign for people walking along the road. And also when we go under the bridge, can you see, is there any footpath? Guys, can you see footpath or pavement? The answer is no. دلته موږ وګورو پیداروي نشته دی. چې پیداروي نه نو پیدل خلک به په کم ځای کې ځي خو حتما په سړک کې به را روانې نو that's why pedestrians walking in the road.
What's the speed limit on this road? 50 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour.
What's the speed limit on this road? It says a residential area, so the speed limit will be 30, not 60, 30. ګوره کم ځای کې چې کورونه وي هلته همیشه سپیډ لیمټ 30 وي یا کم ځای کې چې د سړک څنګ غاړې ته لایټونه وي سټریټ لایټس وي هلته سپیډ لیمټ 30 وي. Okay, so if it's a residential area or if it's a build-up area, the speed is normally 30. Or if there are street lights, then the speed limit will be 30 miles per hour.
What does the single yellow line along the side of the road mean? No stopping at any time. It marks the edge of the road. Waiting restrictions apply at certain times. No waiting at any time.
What does a single yellow line along the side of the road mean? So if it's a single line, so double lines are 24 hours. Single line is not 24 hour, okay? Double line 24 hours. Single line is not 24 hours. Single line is sometimes you will be allowed, sometimes you will not be allowed. Okay, چې کله دوه خطوي زیات دوه خطوي نو الته تاسو هیڅ کله نشئ کولی موټر مو پارکئ او یا منتظره اوسیږئ. چې یو خطوي بعضې وختونه certain times بعضې وختونو ته وي نو بعضې وختونو تاسو په انتظار کولو باندې ممانعت وي. مطلب دا چې ځینې وختونه من کولی سو چې هلته انتظار وکړو او ځینې وختونه نسو کولی انتظار وکړو او د دې معلومات به موږ ته څنګه پته لګیږي دغلته به ساین بورډ وي په هغې به یې لیکلي وي. So if it's a single yellow line it's certain times, and how would we know what time we can wait and what time we can't? There will be a signboard telling you what time you can and what time you cannot. So waiting restrictions apply at certain times. Same for red lights, red route as well, guys. Let me just show you the so if you look in here, see if it's double red line, no stopping at any time. Single red line, no stopping at certain times. See دوه سره خطونه وي نو هیڅ کله نشئ کولی چې ودرېږئ. که یو سور خط وي ځینې وختونه کولی شئ ځینې وختونه نشئ کولی. Yes, Wahid. And guys, if any one of you did not subscribe to my YouTube channel, that's my YouTube channel. The link is in my bio as well. Please do subscribe, and I'm putting all these videos there in case if you missed the lesson you can watch it there. کو تر څو اوسه پورې مو یوټیوب نه وی سبسکرایب کړی دغه یوټیوب چینل نوم دی لینک په بایو کې هم شته دی. دا درسونه چې دي ټول هلته ذات شوم نو کو کله هم کلاس ته نه پاتې سي کولی شئ هلته وګورئ. Okay.